This is Mr. V and welcome to this video series on linear programming. This video is going to be on determining the variables and parameters in a problem. So, the variables are the quantities that can change in a given problem. So they're things we can assign number values to, so quantities, that in the course of our problem they can be changed. Either we change them or they are changed for some reason. Parameters are quantities, so again number values, quantities that do not change. So they're values that no matter what happens, they're always going to be the same. So here we have an example. It's a very simple one. A concrete pump can be hired for $500 plus $200 a day. So what we were going to want to do is list off the variables and the parameters that we can find in this problem. So I'm going to list my variables. And in this problem we can see two variables. The first variable is the one that we're trying to find, and we can see that we've got $500, we've got $200, they're all some kind of money value, they're all cost. So one of my variables is going to be the cost. So how much is it going to cost me to hire this concrete pump? Now the second variable, the second quantity that I can change, is the number of days for which I'm going to hire my pump. I could hire it for 1 day, I could hire it for 2, I could hire it for 20. So my other variable is the number of days. And we assign variables a letter value just to make writing our equations a bit simpler. So I might make my cost C, I might make my number of days a D for days. Next, I want to list off my parameters. So they are the number values, the quantities, parameters. They're the quantities that do not change. Now I've got two number values in my problem. I've got 500 and I've got 200. So I'm just going to list both of them. I have my $500, and that's a once-off cost. You're always going to pay this $500. But then the next parameter also depends on the number of days. So I've got this 200, and to figure out a cost using that 200, we have to also know the number of days. So this parameter is linked to my number of days. So when I write it down, I'm going to show that it's related to the number of days by writing it right next to the number of days in my list. That's A. B, our second step, asks us to write the cost in terms of the number of days hired. So we want to write an equation. So we want cost in terms of the number of days hired. So we want to have C equals, and we want to give a calculation to determine how much it's going to cost. Now we know that it's going to cost $200 for every day hired, so it's $200 per day, plus $500 every time. So we might write this as 200 D, and there's an invisible multiply sign there, so it's 200 times D, plus 500. And we could use that to calculate the total cost of hiring this pump. So if I borrow this for 7 days, we would have 200 times 7, which is 1400, plus 900, which would be 1900. And this would work for any number of days that we hire the concrete pump for. So here is our finished answer. It is an equation of the cost in terms of the number of days hired.